Do you know where remote work is going? Because I certainly do. I have been reading data sets all day long. And in this video, I actually want to break down what I think are the 7 most important data sets that you need to know about when going into 2024. Because to be completely honest with you, shit is getting wild. I want to break it down. The majority of these actually come from a few different data sources. My friend Brian Elliott, Work-from-Home Research, Raj from Harvard, Nick Bloom from Stanford. I've read all of their stuff and they actually put out really great stuff every single month. Down in the show notes below, I'll be able to actually show you all of the details of where to find this information. The first data set that I want to take a look at is the Work-from-Home Intensity Across Questions Approaches data set. And this actually shows you how often someone works from home dependent upon their educational background. As you can see, high school or less, we're sitting around the 12 to 14% mark, 1 to 3 years of college, 20 to 24%, 4-year college degree, 31 to 34%. And then also, if you have a graduate degree, you are essentially sitting approximately in the same mean. And we have 2 different data sets here. We have the CPS questionnaire, the modified CPS questionnaire, just 2 different ways of asking the same question essentially in this data set. So what does this mean? Well, it means if you are college educated, your chance of working remotely is significantly higher than if you are high school educated. And if you want to work remotely, you probably need a university degree. Next one is looking at what are the difference between the sexes. Do women work more often remote than men? Well, yes, the data shows that women actually work significantly more than men in a certain context. So essentially, women work approximately 5 to, depending upon the data set that you take a look at, 10% more often than men. And that would actually make perfect sense because women generally are responsible for the vast majority of childcare. It's much easier for women to be able to work from home than it is for men because they get other advantages that they wouldn't have otherwise gotten. They can take care of their children. I'm not being politically incorrect here, but there are other responsibilities that women need to do inside of the United States that are just required inside of that society, and this data would show that out. Here's another question or an insight that I'll gain from this particular data set. If you actually want to be able to focus on diversity, equity, inclusion inside of your organization, you should be working remotely because you're going to get more women if you work remotely. And not only that, there's other data sets that show that you're not only going to get more women, but you're also going to get more minorities, and women and minorities feel more at home inside of a remote environment. They can grow faster through that organization than they can if they are inside of an office. This next one was a bit of a surprising one. The newest data showing the work arrangements by age from July to October of 2023. So it's showing that older people work in the office more often. That seems to counterpoint to some other data sets that I've seen, that older people actually like to be able to work from home more often. It seems like the hybrid inside of that 50 to 64 ratio has actually just completely disappeared. So there are more work from home people between 50 and 64, but there are also more people that work fully on site from an office. Basically, they've just decided I'm either working from an office or I'm working from home, one of those 2 things. Young people, obviously, a lot less people are working on site along with 30 to 39-year-olds. And the biggest chunk of that is that hybrid component. But as you can see, working remotely is actually increasing as you age. I fit inside of the 40 to 49 category. Probably that's pretty realistic based off of a lot of friends that I talk to. The vast majority of them are working either home, hybrid, the other half are working from an office. This next graph is pretty interesting as well. Current amount of work from home days as of October of 2023. You can see it's like 34% are 0 days, and then essentially the rest are some form of hybrid, and 21% are completely remote. So the majority of the US workforce either works remote or hybrid in some context. It looks like the vast majority of people, there seems to be a spike at 2 days per week that you can work from home, which is quite interesting. Very few people have 4 days per week. It looks to me like a 2-day, 3-day working from home work week seems like the way to do it. The Mondays and Fridays is a big phenomenon that a lot of people are interested in doing. And then the second data set here is connected to the desire for people to be able to work remotely. You can see that there's a huge difference between the amount of days that people want to be able to work from home and the amount of days that they're currently allowed to be able to work from home. Just as an example, 5 days per week is 30%, 21.4% is the actual actual data that's currently existing right now. Rarely or never working from home is 34.1%, and the workers want it at 19%. So there's essentially a third of that data difference between those two, and obviously we need to continue to solve that. Next data set is actually going to show you exactly what I'm talking about. So this is the data set. Average days per week working from home after the pandemic and workers able to actually work from home. So this is employers' plans and workers' plans. Workers' plans are the straight line, employers' plans are the dotted line. And you can see the employers' plans have actually gone up, and now they're starting to drop back off a little bit. And then essentially the workers' plans are pretty straight. Now, we had a little bit of a drop in October of 2023. However, I did get the latest data set and I plotted it myself, and you can see that essentially we are still flat if you look at the one that I've actually collected, which I used with a little bit of help from ChatGPT. Those are the biggest graphs that I would take a look at going into 2024. What do you think about this? Is this something that would be interesting towards your outlook? Was it something that you expected? Was it something that you didn't expect? I'd love to be able to talk more about it, because to be completely honest with you, I essentially think we're stuck in a flat work environment. The employer and the employee are essentially stuck in a, hey, we're no longer going to increase work from home. We're no longer going to decrease work from home, even though we kind of want to, because the employees don't want it. So we are caught in a bit of a Mexican standoff. Interested to see who will budge first. Hopefully that was useful to you. If it is, please let me know down in the comments below. Subscribe to this channel, like this video, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.